Hey, what's going on, everybody, and welcome to Kick Rocks Podcast 2 Drink Minimum. This is episode number 21. The gang got together and we talked about our favorite films from when we were 21 years old. So a little blast from our own past there. We went back in time, talked to our 21-year-old selves, and talked about what we were into at that time. So sit back, relax, have a drink with us, and enjoy. Alrighty, gentlemen, cheers.
Oh, shit.
There you go.
These, not a whole lot of clanks. These are full glasses.
Yeah, these are full glasses. We just refilled for the first time. We just filled up for the first time is what I meant to say. Maybe we're already on our second drink for 2 drink minimum, but that's okay. We're going to get things rolling here. This is our 21st episode. Holy cow. And in honor of that, we're going to remember a times long gone, long since past, when we were all 21 years old. Now, that's happened in different years, it turns out, for all of us. So we're going to go back and discuss our favorite films from the year we turned 21. And what movies did we have to see when we were 21 years old? What year it was, what film came out that year, what'd you have to see? So we're going to go back in time for you guys. Let's see what we come up with. But before we get started, introductions, perhaps. I'm Bill.
Tony.
Sergio.
JT.
All right, here we go. Who wants to start things off, guys?
Sergio. All right.
He totally volunteered. He raised his hand and everything.
Look at
you
him.
ready to go, or do you want me to go?
I'll go.
Oh, you're a saint.
So, all right. So, being the ripe old age that I am, my 21st birthday happened in the year of 1997.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Jesus
So I have to
Christ.
admit, I didn't realize this until we started looking at movies that came out in 1997, but there were a lot of good movies out there.
Strong
I have to
year?
admit, yeah, I feel
Okay.
like it was a very strong year. I'm just going to read out really quick. I'm just going to read out a bunch of them. So we had Austin Powers, International Man of a Mystery, Men in Black, Fifth Element, Face Off, Scream 2. That was kind of good. Liar, Liar. I remember really, really liking. Gattaca, I thought was a phenomenal sci-fi flick.
Sure.
Con Air was fun. You know, you can't get enough of Nicolas Cage, right?
Yeah.
Grosse Point Blank, another fun movie.
Awesome.
Devil's Advocate, I thought was by far at that time probably one of the top Keanu Reeves movies and
Pacino.
and Pacino
please.
movies.
One of the best Pacino monologues of all time.
Yeah,
at the end of
and Chasing Amy came out that year. That's just
right.
that's just like a proof point that that was such a great year.
Strong year.
Yeah, but I think
What was 21-year-old Sergio into, though?
that's the thing is we had this conversation before we got started, and we said, all right, it's not what we would have liked now; it's what we back then
Correct.
really, really liked. And I hate to admit this right now, guys, but I'm gonna have to say Titanic. Titanic was
Wow.
it was one of those things where it's just it was the hype at the time. Everybody was seeing it. I was dating a girl at
There
the
it
time
is.
where
I was just going to say.
we went to see it.
That's why all of us went to see
we
it.
went
Yeah.
to see it. We both really, really liked it. So we
Yeah.
went to see it again. I think we saw it probably 3 times
Wow.
in the movie theater.
That is 18 hours worth of theater time.
I
Yeah.
was very, very lucky to be between girlfriends when that came out. I still
Yeah.
haven't seen it. I still
Right.
haven't.
Really.
No, I went and saw Die Another Day. But no, not Die Another. Tomorrow.
Tomorrow
Never
Never
Dies.
Dies.
Tomorrow Never
Tomorrow
Dies.
Never
That's it.
Gotcha.
So are you gonna let this girl fade away into anonymity, or does she have a name? Does your rose have a name, Jack?
No, she's gonna fade into the distance. She's gonna
She's gonna fade away. All right.
It's one of those memory things. I don't want to talk about it. It's bad enough that I'm talking about the Titanic in general on a podcast.
Yeah.
Let's just
That ship has sunk.
yes.
Okay.
Yes. Let's just let it be.
right.
However, if anyone's ever listened to any previous podcasts, I think nostalgia is one of those words, those keywords that you will hear me say quite often. And I'll admit, you know what? Every once in a while, I'll just kind of want to get my Titanic fix because I'll be honest, Kate Winslet to this day, I think is,
Oh,
man, one beautiful, beautiful woman who is just like, if there's a movie that's on and she's on it, like my second favorite Kate Winslet movie has to be Eternal Sunshine of a Spotless Mind. Like she just looks gorgeous in that movie with the orange hair and like the blue and like all this colorful, and the way she acts and when she has the accent, when she uses her actual like British accent.
well, to this day, I think she's extremely beautiful. Obviously, we can say that, and extremely talented.
Yeah.
She's a great actress.
Exactly.
And yeah, I would argue almost everything I see her in, she's great in it. And Titanic was
Her breakout
for her
role.
and DiCaprio, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
they both were very new to
that was huge.
to film.
Yeah.
They had both had their stints in. Well, DiCaprio, he did.
He had done like
What's Eating Gilbert Grape. That
This
got him
Boy's
huge.
Life, and
The Basketball Diaries.
Sure.
I think was right before this, and then
Was Romeo and Juliet before Titanic or after?
not sure.
I forget.
Those
Right
late,
around that
middle
time,
late
though.
'90s
Right around-
was like
Yeah, right
and then
around
but like Kate Winslet. I don't think she might have had like one or two features that were just not well known.
I think this made her a household name,
Yeah,
though.
and she
Yeah.
had quite a few like BBC like shows that she
Sure.
was on.
It certainly made her features household.
Yeah,
Hello.
exactly.
Hello. Oh boy.
But yeah, it's like I just remember I saw that movie. I mean James Cameron. I mean,
yeah.
well written, well filmed, well directed. It won a ton of awards.
It
during
cleaned
the
up. It won
Oscars,
almost
yeah.
everything that year, including
So,
Best Picture. Yeah.
But yeah, it's just one of those movies that it has romance, it has drama, it has history. You know, so it's like one of those things where it's like it's a pretty good idea. Let's make a movie about something tragic that happened in history and have it be a love story. It's smart. So
I'm with you on it. It's a great film. There's no doubt about that. And it was when it came out too. It was it might have been the last time that the biggest film / blockbuster of the year, because like you said, you saw it 3 times. People saw that film multiple times.
Yeah.
It might have been the last time where a film that was that huge at the box office also cleaned up at the Oscars.
Yeah.
I don't know if we've seen a film that had both since then. I'm
yeah,
not sure.
No, you're right.
I'd have
You're
to
right.
think, but I don't think.
I
I
feel
think
like-
that was the last blockbuster that really cleaned up,
Yeah, you're right.
awards wise as well. Yeah, it was great. I have one problem with the film though, and it always comes at the end. There is way
than
too much
enough.
room on that door.
More than enough
More
room.
than enough room on that door, and she just lets Jack die.
Some kid had that as like their college thesis where they like proved the multiple angles that they could both fit on that door
easily.
and float fine. Yeah. Pretty hilarious.
Yeah, but I don't know. All I'm saying is that at that time when they made the doors, those are some pretty heavy duty doors. Could have easily supported both of their body weights.
Or could they have sank because they were so heavy?
I don't think so.
Right?
I tend to
Were
believe
they
that.
balsa wood?
Was it?
I said, were they balsa wood? Like a very light floating like type
I
of
don't know.
door?
It's more
The
tragic.
buoyancy
If,
was
it's more
amazing.
tragic if he dies. I get it, but yeah, heartbreaking in fact. But there's definitely room on that door.
Yeah.
That's my only issue with it. But all in all, it's a great film. It is one of those where if it's on, yeah, oh my god, there's a lot of good scenes there. It's fun. It's a fun film. It's like you said, it's got a little bit of everything.
Yep.
It's got some drama, a lot of drama for sure. It's got the romance. There's some
Celine Dion
funny
singing
moments. It's
Yeah, so
very.
Our Heart Goes On.
Yes, it's
Deadpool
very
too.
cinematic. It's very.
So there were a lot of survivors of the real Titanic. So did the ship actually crack in half while it was
Yes.
sinking or not?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Did it? Okay. So people saw that happen.
Yeah,
would
it actually did do the
assume.
crack thing where it started to go down, and then it cracked, came back up, and then it fully went down. That's,
Oh, all right.
yeah. Now I don't know the logistics of how they proved that, but that actually did occur. It is still at the bottom of the ocean, snapped in half.
Parts of it.
So,
Yeah.
parts of it at least, right?
Mhm.
So there
You guys
go.
ever catch that exhibit at the Museum of Science and Industry?
I did.
No.
There's a big line that's like, don't cross this line, don't touch it. Yeah, I touched it.
Yeah, yeah, good film. Good
Did
film.
they-
And to this day, everybody who's on a boat ever, they go to the front of the boat and they do the Jack and Rose "I'm Flying" scene.
Oh, yeah.
If you haven't done that and you've been standing at the front
It's
of a boat,
timeless.
you have to do that. You have to do that.
I still haven't. I just haven't seen it.
You've
I don't
never
know,
seen Titanic?
No, I really.
If you haven't, don't bother because like it's past, and like
Yeah.
if you watch it now,
Spoilers.
it might feel old. It might feel like dated to you.
Right.
So it's like it'll be completely lost on you.
Yeah, like at the time, the CGI was awesome.
Yeah.
Kevin, I remember Kevin telling me back when it came out how awful the CGI was.
Oh, no,
really?
I think for the time, I think it was great.
He said like he was like in the theater and it showed like sweeping shots of the boat and he said he could see like like NPCs, if you will, like
Oh.
like walking CGI characters on the deck of the boat, like walking in perfect 90-degree angles and stuff, like they were automated, like or something.
Never even
Well,
noticed.
yes,
I
it
thought-
was 97, but like was anyone really looking for those automated people walking by?
Yeah, 15-year-old me was like, I'm
Yeah.
just trying to sit next to this girl. Like that's why I was in the theater.
All right.
I was far too young to have a girlfriend at that time.
Thanks.
You
Thanks.
old.
Yeah. Well, I was out
You
at the
old
bars.
sack of no.
No, actually, I probably wasn't even at the bars that much back then.
Oh
See,
my
it's like
gosh.
I want to talk crap about it or something, even though I didn't see it. But like, but it's too easy. You know what I mean? It's like when people make fun of Nickelback or something. It's like that's come on,
Whoa.
pick something better.
They're awful. But no, Titanic. That's a viable pick when you were 21. That was definitely the movie that year to go see. And the fact that you had a girlfriend at that time, you weren't not going to see that movie. It was
Exactly.
going to happen.
Exactly.
So great way to start off. One of the biggest movies of all time. So
Who's next?
who's next?
I'm going to jump in because when we were first talking about doing this podcast, I just, I Googled 2003 and I wanted to see what's my favorite movie from 2003. But Sergio, you made a good point. It's what were we excited about in 2003 and
Yeah.
what was our favorite movie then? So I'm just going to mention real quick that of 2003, Open Range, one of the best modern westerns ever made. It's probably my favorite 2003 movie, but at that time, a movie that I was dying to see, and there's a toss-up, and it's from two of my favorite directors, and it's either going to be Kill Bill Volume 1 or Once Upon a Time in Mexico. And I'm going to say that I was more excited to see Once Upon a Time in Mexico
Wow.
by Robert Rodriguez than Kill Bill. So
Yeah, you're going Tarantino or Rodriguez there.
I'm going Rodriguez over
And
Tarantino,
they're- and they're
man.
buds, too,
yeah,
so
I
yeah.
know. And it's like, and I love both of them, and I love both of the films. They're both awesome.
Yes.
But I can remember the first time I saw Desperado, which was like 95, and going to the video store and renting the VHS and watching it as many times as I could before I needed to return it the next day. And just being like, this is awesome. So when there was finally the third installment, the follow-up, and it had that star-studded cast, I was so excited to see it, and I went and checked it out, and it was awesome. It was just this perfect follow-up to everything that had happened so far. You know what I mean? It's not like a perfect story between, El Mariachi to Desperado to, to the finale, but it's just, I think at that time, it was guns blazing, it was characters that I remembered, and it was Robert Rodriguez, so it was awesome. So, yeah, that's my choice. Oh, I should have mentioned my year, because that's good to
No,
do.
you did. You said 2003,
Oh,
right?
2003, yeah. I was
Yeah.
21, 2003. There was a lot of nonsense happening then, but yeah, I'd say Once Upon a Time in Mexico was my favorite. I mean, you've got a Johnny Depp, I believe playing an FBI agent who's undercover, who's completely blinded at one point because his eyes were removed, and still getting into shootouts with the cartel. And yeah, it was great.
So Kill Bill was 2003.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, that was almost my pick, and that's an awesome movie. But I think at the time, I was more excited to see Once Upon a Time in
I
Mexico.
remember liking Kill Bill 1 and 2 when they came out. I feel like if I watched them now, they wouldn't hold up. I don't know.
I feel like Tarantino's got better movies. Like
Yeah.
Jackie Brown.
Jackie Brown is just dude. It is.
You like that?
Yes,
That's my
it's-
least favorite of his.
No,
I'm
I think
totally
it's. I
joking.
think it's no. I
Really?
love Jackie Brown. I think so. I was talking to my dad about this yesterday. I think Jackie Brown's really underrated.
It is underrated.
I think it's a great movie. It's got some great characters in it and some great writing. But
I like that. I would disagree. I can never decide if I like Kill Bill Volume 1 or Volume 2 more. I don't know. I look at it as a whole
Yeah.
product. I guess it's like one complete film, even though
Yeah.
they split them up.
But I like the way he shot.
I
Each
love-
one, like one feels like
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
Asian,
yeah. They
the
feel like
martial
different
arts.
films.
The other one feels more Western. I love that dichotomy between the two.
Sure.
So
That's
Sure.
cool, but I feel like at that point it was almost you know how sometimes like a pop star like has to write a catchier song than the last one to stay relevant. I feel like that's what he did with that movie. You know what I mean? Was like the and you know just stuff like that. It's like he knows that people are gonna be quoting it or whatever. You know what I mean? Because he knows who he is,
yeah.
and so it's like he like threw very like things that he knew were gonna like stick, you know,
Right.
like whether they made sense or not. I mean, that's how he makes all his movies. But I
Right.
felt like that one was a little.
But then on the
Little
same
easy.
on the same point, I think that's what makes him so good is that he's got a knack for being able to pick things that he knows are going to stick in the mainstream to get people excited about his films.
No, it's
does
true.
that make sense? Because it's
Yeah.
just like because he does like you're right. He does do that like the dun, dun,
Yeah.
dun, 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 like you just said, and it's just like, but he does it because he knows people are going to find it catchy,
Right.
want to watch it, want to tell their friends about it,
Yeah.
get them to watch
And
it.
I like
Because-
all his movies.
Yeah.
I really do. I'm just saying, like, that was the one that felt the most like cheap. You know what I mean? Like it was like grabbing for the hipster audience a little too hard. You know what I mean? Like it was. I don't know.
See, I didn't feel that at all.
Yeah.
I thought that he wanted to make a badass samurai flick
Mm-hmm.
because he's a fan of
that genre,
That
Yeah, he
genre.
that
did. Yeah.
early 60s,
And it was
70s
just
genre,
yeah.
Right.
I mean, it was just like, and he did it in his way, which
He
was
was going like more
completely-
like Kurosawa and stuff.
Yeah.
You know, I think so.
And
but-
He
totally.
did. It's still competent, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's not
Yeah.
like everybody laughed it out of the theater. Or
Oh,
anything, 'cause
no,
that
not
could
at
have
all.
happened too, you know. But yeah,
yeah, man. I guess.
Well, no,
I
let's
had
take a second to talk about
two choices.
Once Upon a Time in Mexico.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
here's the thing, like I remember going to see that, and the not to knock your choice, but I remember being slightly disappointed because I loved El Mariachi.
Yeah.
I love
Yep.
the story of the fact like here's a director from Mexico spends I want to say the number was $7,000 to make a film.
Yeah,
It was
to
like
make-
dirt cheap.
Yeah, and all of a sudden it's like he accomplishes it. He's the underdog who like, all right, Hollywood noticed him. Let's give this guy a budget, and he goes out and he makes Desperado.
Yeah.
And like Antonio Banderas and Salma Hayek, and it becomes this fucking amazing film.
Mm-hmm.
And then Once Upon a Time in Mexico, I thought was like he was trying too hard to make a phenomenal, like star-studded cast.
I feel like he had the
that's how I feel about Kill Bill.
Okay,
I feel
okay,
like-
yeah, okay. That's
I feel like he had the budget, so he could get the cast. He had the money to do it. But I also feel like that's kind of maybe what he wanted to do the whole time, and he finally was able to do it. You know
That's
what
a
I
good
mean?
point. That's
You know,
a
where
good
it's kind of
point.
like, you know,
Yeah.
hey, I've been struggling. Okay, I finally get the means to do this, and now I do it. Like, dude, I love the writing in that. I love the gunplay in it. It's hilarious. There's just so many jokes throughout the whole thing. It's
That's
fantastic.
when he started going digital too, right?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I
think
think
so.
I think
that is
so.
about the era that
Yeah.
that was like real. That was that transition.
I remember that
like
being
early
kind of a big
2000s
deal
where
around then,
yeah.
I feel like what he always wanted to do was Machete.
I love that.
But he had to make the big budget ones first. So the studio would let him do Machete.
I didn't see two,
But-
but I loved one.
Dude, I was cracking
Yeah.
up about. I thought about it the other day
was
when that
good.
guy when he grabs onto the intestines to repel out the window, and I'm like, it's so stupid
It's
and
great.
great.
It's great. It's great. And then to call the sequel Machete
think-
Kills is even better. I love it. That's what it does.
I like.
You
Robert
know
Rodriguez,
exactly what you're
man.
going into.
He's
That's
fun.
what's gonna happen.
I feel like
It's awesome.
you know, I feel like Robert Rodriguez is like very close to us, where it's like
He has fun. You
has-
can tell he's having
yeah,
fun making his movies.
absolutely.
And it's fun to watch him. And I think that Once Upon a Time in Mexico, I don't know if it's the strongest of the trilogy. I'm not sure.
No,
I'd have
I
to
definitely-
watch them all again. It's been a while since I've seen them.
I definitely prefer
But I
Desperado.
Yeah, but
I'll
Desperado
always
I think
love
is number
El
one. I
Mariachi
think.
because that's what started it, and it's
Yeah.
like very cool
And
to
as
see
indie
what somebody
filmmakers,
did.
it's like,
Yeah.
oh, you can do that.
You did that for
Yeah,
that
yeah,
low of a budget, but Desperado is the one I fell in love with because as a kid, that's the one I rented. But
Once Upon a Time is
in
fun, though.
2003,
Fun.
that's what I was
Yes.
the most excited.
Maybe
about
because of
being,
Desperado.
Good point. That's
Because
a
you
good
saw
point.
that and you're like, oh, I gotta
Because-
see
Oh,
the
absolutely.
finale.
That's a good
At
point, Tony.
21, I went from being,
I gotta see the
you know,
finale.
the 15 or 16-year-old kid who's been waiting for this for 5 years,
And if it's about what did you have to see, that's a perfect.
and that
answer,
and that
because
was
I
it.
agree. Yeah.
That was it. And like
That's
I still love it. You know what I mean? Like it's fun. He works in some of his old characters and some of his old actors into stuff and little bit roles and stuff, and it's
Yeah.
cool to see them
Yeah.
reprise roles. Like one of the crazy, insane dirtbag gunmen from Desperado is a cab driver in Once Upon a Time in Mexico for like 3 seconds. You know what I mean? But it's just kind of like, oh, you worked him in, you got him in here. You know what I mean? And it's really cool to see that. Like I said, there's jokes and little Easter eggs throughout the whole thing. So yeah, definitely the thing that I was most excited about in seeing 2003.
Okay, no, that's a good one. That's a good one.
Great answer. Very
Thanks.
All right,
Thanks.
next.
Whoa! I can't believe you raised your hand.
good. Should we go in order? Let's
Uh,
go in order.
What order?
Of oldest to youngest. So that would mean JT.
Alright, fine, yeah.
I am
I turned 21 in December 27, 2002. So I spent most of being 21 in 2003. So I'm going with 2003 here. Especially
enough,
Since
fair enough.
2002, I guess, wasn't that great a year for movies. What I was looking up. 2003, I was most stoked on Freddy versus Jason.
that's the only F one there. I was like, he loves Freddy. Maybe this is one that he's gonna pick.
That's
That
awesome.
was great. That movie kind of
That's awesome.
like rekindled my interest for Freddy Krueger because it's like I saw the second one as a kid and then like most of the first one and little bits of them like growing up. You know what I mean? So it's like that movie kind of like made me sit down and like re-watch the series from like 1 to 7. You know, like right after I saw it and stuff. And it's like the swan song for Robert Englund as Freddy before the crappy reboot came out a couple years later.
Right on, right on.
And
Good call.
I don't know. I love that movie. I think it's technically well made, and it's like it's stupid as shit, but like it knows it's stupid. You know what I mean? It's like, it didn't try to be anything other than what a movie called Freddy vs. Jason was.
Yeah, it's exactly what it sounds
Yeah.
like. But it's fun and it's still decent horror moments in it too.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
still good.
Right.
Yeah.
See, that movie is like, it's one of those times where it's one of those rare moments where they really deliver, like on a promise. You know what I mean? Where it's like, you got a movie called Freddy vs. Jason. Everybody's had that movie in their head since the 80s. You know what I mean?
Dude,
like,
they were talking about that for years
Yeah.
before it happened.
No, they were. They totally were. And like, you know, like even like before they were talking about it in movies, it was like kids would talk about it in the playground or whatever, you know, when you're growing up and stuff. And it's like that movie was as good as the movies that were in our heads. You know what I mean? It's like you got what you wanted. It was like the plot was dirt simple. Like, well, it's actually kind of, it's like they married it together. They didn't like go crazy with the concepts. They didn't like go off into like weird territory or anything. It was like, okay, Jason gets resurrected by Freddy because he's controlling his nightmares and wants to make the Elm Street kids fear him again, and then they end up at Crystal Lake at the end. You know what I mean? It's like that's fucking straightforward, you know? And then like the murders in it was what you want out of it. It's like Jason just hacks the crap out of people. Freddy does scary stuff in dreams. He only kills one person actually.
I need to watch this
But
again.
it's got a
because
lot of jokes.
I know.
I can honestly say I don't remember this film.
I remember,
wow.
I remember bits and pieces. I remember like Jason getting pulled into the dreams.
Yeah.
I remember that whole scenario.
And then there was that. Is that
Yeah.
like they did a high budget fight
yeah.
in the dream world and then outside the dream
Yeah.
world. You
And
know
I
what
felt
mean?
some-
At Crystal Lake. It's like
Was some of it CGI? I felt like some of it was,
Oh, a lot
right?
of it was, yeah.
because I it's been a while since honestly, I think I saw it that year and
Yeah.
then never went back.
Right.
To be honest.
What's the opening scene for that, or the opening kill?
It's kind of in Jason's head. It's like
Yeah.
there's like a naked chick running through the
Jason's
forest.
in hell.
Is
at
it
this
a
point.
cornfield or a party by that?
No,
Or am I
there
thinking
is.
of a
That
No,
different-
it's at like
that
Crystal
happens.
Lake.
Okay, that's
Halfway through the
all
movie.
I
Oh, yeah,
can
the
remember.
cornfield
Yeah.
scene's pretty
Does
awesome.
he get set
yeah.
on fire?
He does.
Okay, that's the only thing I can remember from that movie.
That's the line where it's like that pissed off goalies. Yeah, it's
Oh my god, yeah, there was that character that was like
Yeah.
just so
the
so,
comic relief or whatever.
No, but he
like,
was
just
so
kill him.
so Jay from Jay and Silent Bob.
Oh, yeah,
He
yeah.
was so Jason Mewes or whatever.
Just kill him. Yeah.
Like it was like, oh, you couldn't afford him, so you
Yeah.
just got this guy to beat him.
And later he dies when he's stoned too.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
He smokes a big blunt and sees a messed up Freddy or something, and I don't know, whatever. It's
yeah,
weird.
but Robert Englund killed it, and they
yeah.
the director was Ronnie Wu. I don't
Yes.
know. He also
Okay.
did Bride of Chucky.
Let me ask you this then. Spoilers. Given the ending, who do you think wins?
I don't know, it's kind of a draw, right?
Okay. Yeah. I've always thought so too. Technically, I think Jason gets the kill or whatever,
Yeah.
but Freddy gets the last wink to the audience.
Dude, that fight was so funny at the end too. Like,
It was
especially
great.
by the time they're walking down the dock and just taking chunks out of each other.
Oh, yeah.
Just there goes a piece. There goes a piece. There goes.
It's a big build up, but it does
It's
pay off because
hilarious.
they're just wailing on each other at the end. Yeah.
Oh man, and that Destiny's Child girl was in it. Whatever. Mm-hmm. I forgot her real name.
You just said something. Actually, sorry. I'm gonna start over. You just, Bill.
Yeah.
You just said the Jason's in Hell thing, and that reminded me there was a Jason Goes to Hell.
Yeah. No, it's awful. We're not gonna talk Jason again.
No,
We're
no,
not
no.
gonna talk Freddy.
No, I know. I'm just trying to.
I gave you part
in my-
4. I gave it to you.
In my
Jason
in
Goes to
my
Hell's
me-
awful.
In my messed up mindset, I'm like, wait, did they do something cool where
No.
did it end with Jason Goes to Hell, and then they decided to do this Freddy versus Jason, and they pulls him out of hell? But no, there were like 3 more that
Right,
came out
right.
after Jason Goes to Hell. 'Cause
That
what
was so
Jason-
bad that they cut those out of continuity and have.
Yeah, because like
Jason
Jason 10 was the space one. Like,
Freddy
wasn't he in
pulled him
space?
out of hell.
Okay, so and then they jumped to in 2003, Freddy pulling him out of hell.
Right, to wreak havoc on the kids of
Elm Street.
Elm Street, right? Whatever town that Spring is. Nah,
Springwood.
Springwood. Thank you. I want to say Springfield, but I knew it was wrong.
Such a-
Springwood. To remember, so the whole point is Freddy wants him to go kill people, so the people start saying, "Oh, it's Freddy doing this," and he would get power. Freddy would get power to come back and get strong.
I gotta watch this again.
Yeah, I
Because
think
Freddy was forgotten.
I think I gotta binge watch
Right.
all of Jason and all of Freddy. Because
No, you don't. Not
It's-
a whole thing.
Freddy vs. Jason is really stupid, but it knows what it is, and it's actually
Yeah.
one of the better Freddy movies.
Well, the whole
Yeah.
reason they fight is because Jason winds up stealing Freddy's kills. So, like, he unleashed this monster, and it's like, careful what you wish for, because now Jason's killing everybody. Freddy can't get any kills. He's not getting credit for it, so he's actually pissed at Jason for stealing his
So
kills.
this is a fable.
Yeah, it's great. Pretty great. It's a lot of fun. That's a great movie. Like I said, I think
That's
it's
awesome.
got equally as good comedy as it does horror in it. It's pretty good.
Yeah, 2003 was weird.
It was weird, but it delivered. Damn it! It
Choices were
delivered.
slim.
All right.
all right,
All right.
Nice.
good call.
Cool. I will go, and I'm 2004. So, birthday's in November. So, I mean, I guess I'm only 21 for 2 months of 2004, but still, I'm going to go with that year. Pretty tough year, actually. Let me just read a few off to you. This is rough. Tough to choose from, but there's one that definitely stands out to me. I was really into it then, still into it now. It's influenced me in a lot of ways, so made it an easy choice. But what made it hard was we have The Incredibles, which would easily be an honorable mention for me. I love that. It's probably one of my favorite animated films of all time. Love that movie. Saw, the first one, not like the 20th one that's out, whatever. I don't know.
Next week.
But the first Saw, I really liked. Thought it was a great horror film. Dawn of the Dead, the remake.
Ooh, so good.
I really liked that remake. I
Wait.
thought it was a very good one.
I thought it was
Wait,
great too.
is that the one with Mekhi Phifer?
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
I didn't.
You didn't like it?
no.
You weren't into it?
Dude, that baby zombie that was birthed was just
Didn't like it at all?
No,
Okay, that's
no.
cool.
I love
cool.
that.
Oh my god,
one.
no, I didn't like that movie. That's Ving Rhames and
Yeah,
no,
yeah.
no
I have
thanks.
to mention this because it was like a huge movie and a huge deal at the time. The Passion of the Christ, very controversial, very big movie at the time, but that was that year. Pretty big year. Spider-Man 2. excellent. I still think.
I liked
Troy,
it back then. I
pretty
don't
epic. I don't know if it holds up now, but Spider-Man 2 back then was. People were saying the best superhero film of all time.
It's a well-directed
Yeah,
movie.
yeah.
That's a Spider-Man movie.
I was interested in where you were going to go with this.
Anchorman, now considered classic, probably. Dodgeball,
Probably.
also a classic, good comedy.
Anchorman was 2004.
Yeah.
Oh my god, dude, you get a good year.
I did. Collateral, Tom Cruise, Jamie Foxx. That was the year I remember Jamie Foxx was nominated for supporting actor in Collateral, and he won for lead actor in Ray. Ray was that same year too. He was nominated in
wow.
both categories for an Oscar. So that was a big year for Jamie Foxx, to say the least, I guess. Right. The Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. You mentioned that.
Hey,
earlier.
dude, you had a
Huge one.
great year. Jesus
Hellboy.
Christ.
Hellboy, pretty good. I love that. I liked Hellboy. The Punisher. I like the first one, I think. I don't know. Punisher Warzone may be better, but I like the first Punisher.
Wait, Thomas Jane?
Napoleon Dynamite, that was a big thing for a while. Napoleon Dynamite was.
The Thomas Jane one was really good with a kind of a long second act.
Here's one. You want some
Did
drama?
you see that little short they did after it? Dirty
Yeah.
Laundry?
Oh, that was great.
awesome.
That was dope.
He's
Yeah.
got the Jack Daniels thing. It
Oh,
was
dude,
great.
so cool.
The Notebook, guys. So we talked about Titanic earlier. How many of us had to go see The Notebook?
That's that old?
I've never
yeah.
seen it.
Yeah.
Dude, The Notebook.
never seen it?
The Notebook
No.
is
Wow.
is an okay movie, man.
Wow.
That's all
I
right.
was single that year.
My girlfriend at the time had taste.
Best. Fair enough. Best film that year?
Did
$1 Million
you?
Baby.
Yeah.
$1 Million Baby, very good. And that's probably about it. But my choice, going off of Dawn of the Dead, 2004, Shaun of the Dead.
Yes.
Is that then too cheap?
Dude,
Yes.
you had an
It's that old.
incredible year.
Yeah, it was a
Crazy.
big year. Big year, but that's my favorite film. It still holds up to me to this day. It definitely has influenced, certainly I think my, take towards film in general and writing and what can be done and things. I loved that film when it came out. I was so excited to see it. One, I actually did like Dawn of the Dead and zombie movies in general. So the fact that they made one Shaun of the Dead, I'm like, oh, this sounds right up my alley. They're making a comedy spoof about it. Awesome. This looks
Right.
way better than Scary Movie or anything, right? I'm into this. Let me see it. And it was my introduction into Edgar Wright and Simon Pegg and Nick Frost and that whole cast. And I fell in love with it. I, have been following them ever since, basically. And it was just, I think that movie hits every single note possible. I think it's very well shot, certainly very well edited. I think it does something that a lot of comedies don't do, which is it shoots things funny, if that makes sense, where it doesn't always rely on the dialogue, even though there's some very witty, funny dialogue. It has things enter and exit the screen,
Edgar Wright.
in a funny way.
Yeah.
That's what Edgar Wright does. And,
Yep.
and I was not that was my introduction to that kind of style.
For sure.
And I loved
Yeah.
it for that. So I think that's very funny. The more I watch it, sometimes I'll watch it, to this day, and I'll pick up on different things that are planted in the beginning. There's little things like they basically give away the entire plot of the film within the first 15 minutes of the movie when Liz breaks up with Sean and his friend Ed is telling him what we should do, we'll do this, we'll go here, and if you really read into it, he's saying the different beats that are going to happen throughout the rest of the film because they wind up at the Winchester at the end anyway. And he says at the end, and we'll come back here for a couple pints at the Winchester, So it's pretty funny how that works out. But yeah, I really love that movie to this day. One of my favorites. I'd still watch it again. I love where that trilogy went. I think it's the Coronado trilogy.
Cornetto
Yeah.
trilogy. with
Yeah,
the
where they have the
Rancor
ice cream.
and,
So it's
cone.
that,
Yeah.
Hot Fuzz, and World's End. Love all three of them, but Shaun of the Dead's probably my favorite one of those.
I appreciated that movie at the time because I didn't know who Edgar Wright was or anything.
Right.
Nobody did.
That was my
But,
intro. Yeah.
But it's because at the time, movies like Scary Movie and Austin Powers 70 or whatever, like
Right.
were like that was like what comedy was, you know? It was
Yeah.
just like it was hand holding, it was pandering, it was stupid,
Yeah.
and it was like not even the good kind of stupid.
Like too sticky.
yeah,
Yeah.
Or to the point where it's like you feel like they just like screened it in front of audiences that it just got dumber and dumber and dumber, and to the point where it's just like it was just like, you know, like what do you call that? You know, when you screen stuff for people like focus group.
Yeah.
you know?
Focus group.
I hate focus grouped comedy, and I hate like cheap comedy and like stuff like that. And it's like that movie just kicked me in the face. Like, oh yeah, it can be like this again.
Yeah.
Remember, you know, like I feel like comedy used to be good. You know, like in the '60s, '70s, '80s, some of the '90s, and then at some point it just got too dumb. You know.
Yeah.
And that movie does not hold your hand. You know what I mean? Like the jokes. Don't like point at them and go, hey, look at the joke. You know what I mean? It's like you had to be paying attention for him. You
It's
know,
a lot of subtle stuff.
Yeah.
Like, you know, they never show what he slips on when he goes back. You know, but you know it's blood.
Yeah.
There's a pool of blood there that he slipped on and he didn't notice because he's still out of it from the night before.
Yeah, and they
But they
pile-
don't have to show that.
Right.
Just go, it's great.
and they pile it on so hard. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Where it's just joke, to
Yeah.
the point where it's just like, you know, everything's on the wall, and like most of them are gonna land. You
Yeah.
know, because it's just genius. But it's like, I don't know. It was just great. You know, like my favorite line at the time when I saw it was like, "Kill the Queen." Which one? No, the music. You know what I mean? Because they're playing "Tonight I'm Gonna Have Myself." You know,
Yeah.
Don't stop me. That's it. And
So I'll hear you and agree with you on like yes, that movie is phenomenal because it turned comedies on its head. Like it said, like everything you just said, where it's like it doesn't have to be the obvious joke; it could be the inobvious joke. Even where it's like Edgar Wright, he knows how to utilize a pause. Meaning, one of my favorite things is that scene where they're in the backyard and
Checks.
well, the point I was gonna say, I was gonna say the point of just like the zombie girl falls down, goes through
Oh,
the
yes.
spike, and he's got the what's his name has the camera,
Polaroid.
the Polaroid camera in his hand, and he's just standing there, and all you hear is the winding of the fucking disposable camera, which is just like it was just that perfect timing pause,
Yeah.
winding of the disposable camera that was just like that's fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
My only argument is like, I think before that, I don't want to dismiss the Austin Powers for their in-your-face humors because they were just like
Not all of
doing the obvious.
I like the first
The
one.
first one. That's more what I'm referring to, where it's like it was so like the obvious joke, which is it was obvious, but it was also like overdone, which is why I love and appreciate that humor too. Actually, I want to touch on something you said, JT. Give me an example from the 60s and 70s, because I'm trying to think of 60s and 70s comedy that blew me away, and I can't really. I mean, that's just me. I can't
Mel
think
Brooks?
of anything.
Anything by Mel
Brooks?
Brooks?
All right, thank you. You just shut me down right there. Oh yeah,
Faulty
Yes.
Towers?
Well, I
Yeah.
was gonna say earlier.
Monty
It
Python?
Yeah,
reminded me.
Python. Oh yeah. No,
it reminded
thank
me
you.
of Mel
Thank you.
Brooks and the way to do parody. I think. You
Yeah.
know? And
Well,
Airplane.
the way to take a beat
That was the
Yes.
80s.
Yeah.
and enjoy the
Yeah.
beat and let it simmer for a second and be like, that's what's funny about it.
Yeah.
Is
Yeah.
the timing.
And sure, there's a lot of. Okay, you could argue that some, Mel Brooks films they do have those, whatever you want to call it. If you want to call it cheap joke or whatever, where you say, where you're nodding to the audience, and that's fine. But there's a lot of it there where, so Young Frankenstein, for example,
Rolling the hay.
I think it's
My favorite line.
I think it's a hilarious movie, but it also is the way it's shot and the way it's presented is this is a Frankenstein film. This is an old horror movie, right? And it's the best of both worlds, I think. And I think Shaun of the Dead reminded me of that because I've always been a Mel Brooks fan. So I think maybe something in there clicked where I'm like, oh, this is like the new age, if I will, way of presenting that kind of parody. And
Yeah.
That's what I thought. The same
was
thing,
great.
but I thought of that as the Zuckers because I'm a huge Zucker Abrams fan.
okay, yeah, for sure.
Good point.
Airplane, Nicky Young, Hot Shots.
Yes, there you go. There
Kentucky
you go.
Fried Movie, Top Secret, all that stuff.
Yeah.
I want to say real quick with Shaun of the Dead, it's like we talked about other movies that have like visual gags and it's too kitschy and it's over the top. It's almost like with Edgar Wright, it's the visual gag without the gag. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Where it's still just funny.
It's
And it's natural, and it's
Right.
not the in your face. It's just kind of, it's not a movie you can sit. Kids now aren't going to get it. You're looking at your phone. You're not putting your phone away while you watch a movie. You know what I mean? That movie's hilarious from start to finish if you just sit there and watch it.
Yeah, like one of the scenes I'm thinking of, just to go with that, where he goes with just a simple shot that makes it so much funnier than it could have been, is they're in the backyard, they're just outside the Winchester, and they're looking to get there. So we have to check and see, how does it look? Is the coast clear? So he climbs up on this play school ladder, Sean does, and in the backyard, but the camera doesn't move. So you see him climb up, and it stops on his feet. It's just focused on the ladder. It does not move. And there's a pause. And then he comes back down very slowly.
And that's already hilarious.
And that's funny
That's
there.
Yeah.
Great.
Now, if they had showed him looking and seeing all the zombies and seeing his reaction,
Oh, the
and
bit
then
would be
going
lost.
down and saying, "Oh yeah, guys, now not
Yeah.
funny." But the fact that he comes back down, he has that stone look on his face,
Yeah,
and they go, like, "Is the coast clear?" No. How many? Lots. That makes it funny. The fact that the camera doesn't. He's just like, "No, I'm going to leave it there." And we're going to see him go up. It's going to be on his feet. And then he's going to come back down and have a completely different look on it. Like, that is, I think, a seemingly simple idea, but it works so damn well in that moment.
Yeah.
It's so much funnier than
Yeah.
showing him.
Hot Fuzz is still my
climbing it.
favorite.
I wonder if I'd like to look at some behind the scenes stuff and see if he has all this visually, like storyboards done ahead
I've
of
read
time.
that he
Because I'm curious.
storyboards the shit out of
Okay,
yeah.
you'd have to, right?
Yeah,
There's
especially
even,
for the
like-
transition.
I think with the
Yeah.
way he edits and stuff, it seems like it makes sense. He might have to, yeah.
He's awesome.
I'd be shocked
Yeah.
if he didn't.
Well, I remember. I think I was watching like.
But Simon,
on the
we'll
hot-
give
like-
Simon Peck some credit too, because
Oh yeah.
he's in charge of
Absolutely.
writing it and stuff. Obviously, I mean,
But even with like the
not in
extras
charge,
and
but he
the
co-writes
Hot
it.
Fuzz movie, like when you get the DVD with the extras, like you just get this behind the scenes things where he was just basically like, I remember just one quote where he was saying that like people don't spend enough time doing close ups and like you not that we've done a feature film, but it's like. A lot of films will be like, all right, let's get all the important wide shots, close-ups, blah, blah, blah. But then, like, let's focus, let's dedicate some serious time to do, like, the close-up of this glass or the close-up of this hand doing whatever. And he's like, no, I'll schedule an entire, like, half-day shoot or an entire day shoot of just like...
inserts?
Fingers pressing something
this,
or
like that.
sitting something
because
down.
it's like those close-ups are like adding to a gag that I've planned in my storyboards. Like it's like it's important to dedicate time to that, or else you're like spending the day shooting everything, and then you're like, okay, we got an hour left, guys. Let's hurry up and do these close-up shots.
Well, he shoots his comedy like a film, not like a shitty TV show.
Exactly, exactly.
That's how a lot of
So-
comedies are shot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
One of those.
It's not always the bad way to go.
And JT, you might know more about this. I just remember hearing this, maybe in like like some promo or video that I was watching on YouTube or something like that. But because didn't he was the original director who was supposed to do Ant-Man, right? And I just remember hearing
I
something
didn't
like
know that.
when it went to who directed Ant-Man. Correct me. Nonetheless, all I know is like I remember hearing or reading something where he was just like he literally Edgar Wright literally called up the new director of Ant-Man, and said like, "You better not use my storyboards for Ant-Man because I spent a lot of time putting all of that together so that it's like has all that comedic timing that he does." And I truly believe that situation happened because he is one of those directors that just is so particular and meticulous about like this shot's got to be done like this and edited like this so that it becomes funny like this.
Yeah, he shouldn't be working for Marvel then,
Good point. Good point.
Disney and Marvel, they want,
Yeah.
God bless them, like they make the stuff on brand, which is why I love them, because I love Marvel characters, you know what I mean? But if you want creative control, you're not going to be there. You know?
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
what's his fa-
and do you know-
I'm actually glad he didn't do Ant-Man.
And do you
because
know
I want
that
him
history
doing his
was-
own stuff. I don't want him to be
Gotcha.
part of the corporate machine. You know.
Yeah,
Okay,
because if
so,
he
like-
would have done it and then they would have taken over, you'd have been like, what did he do?
Yeah.
And it wouldn't have been what he wanted. Yeah.
And JT, do you know, like, is that like what happened? Because I know he was scheduled to direct it originally,
Yeah.
but do you know what happened that like got him pulled off the project?
No, I think it was just creative
Diff-
differences.
creative
It had to have been
differences?
creative
Yeah.
differences. Yeah.
Yeah, he was creative. They were different. All right. Well, that's a good point. I think to start to wrap things up. I think we've talked about
Movies.
definitely movies, but films that we had to go see when we were 21. Now, in that same year, let's do a quick round robin. What was the movie, or maybe movies, that you just couldn't stand when you were 21, or didn't go see, or wouldn't go see, or just didn't get why they were so big? Something like that. Movies that made you go, ugh, let's just do that when you were 21. So, who wants to get that rolling? Real quick?
SWAT. SWAT was made in 2003.
Holy
It was
shit.
just awful. Had no desire to ever see it. When it was coming out, when I finally did see it, I think it was just out on TV or cable or something,
Yeah.
and it was just as bad as I thought it was going to be. SWAT.
Okay,
Yeah,
that's great.
That's my.
Did they have Colin Farrell?
Colin
Yeah.
Farrell, Sam Jackson.
You know what sucks is that Colin Farrell. I like Colin Farrell,
Dude, in
It's-
Bruges?
He just must have the worst
Freaking
agent
love him.
ever because he gets put in the stupidest stuff.
I think for 2003, that's what was happening for him. I
Yeah.
think now.
It was in
Some
Daredevil.
people like
he's-
to work.
yeah, exactly. Right around the same time. Yeah, I don't know if it was 2003 or not.
I think it was.
It was.
Definitely was. Earlier that year, yeah.
Wait, so Affleck did fucking Geely and
Yeah.
Daredevil in the same
2003,
year?
not a great Affleck here.
Until recently.
I don't,
What
think,
year
I don't think
was?
Daredevil's as bad as people think it is, but it's not great either.
Well, Colin
has
Farrell's
sin-
bad in bad in Daredevil.
Well, he's since directed a Best Picture, and he's now Batman, so
Yeah.
it got better for Affleck.
Yeah.
Right?
2003 was bad.
I think
But
it got significantly better for him.
I'm gonna pick SWAT for my 2003 was full of nonsense films. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. I love that.
I'll jump in.
Okay.
All right. so-
97?
97.
back? Okay.
So this is a movie like so you knew going in that it was going to be bad.
Oh yeah.
So for me, this is a movie that I went in really I really wanted this to be amazing. Vegas Vacation.
Oh, what a letdown.
I'll be honest,
I like moments in that movie.
No, there's funny.
Moments.
There's
that's a
funny
good
parts.
point.
Moments.
That's a good point. There are moments in that movie where I laugh hysterically, particularly where he is in the off the beaten path casino where they're actually playing
Playing
paper rock,
war.
yeah, war,
Or guess how many.
paper rock
was funny,
scissors.
yeah.
That scene was funny, but as a whole, I just remember okay,
Mr. Papa Giorgio.
yes,
That's
yeah, there's little bits, but me being I remember, and this is sad, but I remember seeing National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation in the movie theater. Yeah, I was really little, but that was something even then, we'd watch that over and over again, and
That's
then it was
the best vacation movie.
Yeah,
Yep.
and then it
By
was just
far.
oh no way, they're coming out with a new one. This is gonna be amazing, and then you go and you see it, and it's just and I knew right off the bat that they were going to have different kids because every single movie
always
had
do.
a different
Yeah.
kids. But even the new kids were just the new kids didn't I thought they weren't that great of actors. I thought
Ethan Embry?
yeah, and I thought the storyline was just okay,
I
and I
like
thought the
him.
whole bit.
I thought Mr. Papa Giorgio was great.
I think it was just it's one of those things where expectations lead to disappointment.
Maybe if
you know what I
edit
mean?
it
Where it's
down
like
to
I was
45 minutes, it's funny.
Well, yeah, it's I went in expecting the world. I came out completely unsatisfied, and I think I only watched it one time.
Not even Wayne Newton's plastic smiling face.
Oh, God.
Could save you.
No.
Do you think Randy Quaid, they just bring him on set and don't give him a script? And they're just
They might.
hey,
Yeah,
Start
right.
talking.
Mr. Quaid,
They start poking him with a prod.
just react.
But when he hits himself with it, so there's a couple moments I think I agree it's definitely not the best vacation film by far, but there's definitely speaking of Randy Quaid, where Clark finally asks him for money, and he has to he has to think about it, gets lost and he hits himself in the head or whatever. That's a pretty great bit. It's don't worry, Clark, I got some money buried out, somewhere or whatever. I forget the line, but he has to hit himself. It's pretty great. Sid Caesar's cameo, not really a cameo at the end, but he's in the end. That is Sid
Yeah.
Caesar, right? Or
Yeah.
am I losing my mind?
And he said Caesar.
At the end, when they're playing the
Yeah.
Is it Kino,
Kino?
Bingo?
Yeah.
Kino.
Yeah, where he dies or whatever. Yeah, that guy's great.
But yeah,
And
it's
the part at the dam, the Hoover Dam part where
The damn bait.
it's so bad. Yeah, we're gonna get some damn bait, but it's clearly like a green screen in the background where he's swinging. But when the line finally gets cut and it's Clark, Chevy Chase just on the thing, and he knows he's gonna hit the wall. Probably died. He's just going, oh, beautiful force. I don't know why, but it makes me laugh every time I see that scene. Just seeing his face, just like looking at the wall, you're like, he's gonna die.
I haven't seen it since it first came out on video, and I laughed back then a little bit, but I don't know. I haven't seen it since.
Yeah, it's
so
definitely a
I have no
letdown when
idea.
you think
No, it has
about, when you think
moments,
about
but
how
no.
good Christmas
Yeah.
was.
Yeah.
And like
It's
from
such a
like back
letdown.
to for me, I was going in with so many high expectations,
Sure.
and I just came out like deflated.
Well, because the one Christmas was before that, right? Yeah. It goes
Yeah.
Vacation, Euro,
It goes
Christmas,
It goes
and then
just
Vegas?
regular Euro, Christmas,
Vegas,
Vegas, and then most recently
I guess the remake or whatever,
the
yeah,
remake
sure.
with the new
Didn't see
family,
that yet,
kids, blah blah blah.
Okay, good
It
pick.
was
Russ
just-
is an
Very good
adult,
pick.
Yeah.
so yeah, JT.
Tills, you want to go?
What am I doing? 2003, The Hulk. Just Hulk.
Oh.
Actually, not even The Hulk, just Hulk.
And
And I'll agree with that too because
Yeah.
it wasn't.
Yeah.
It wasn't.
I'll tell you,
good.
this movie is, it's...
What were they thinking? What was?
Here,
what
I'll-
were they thinking?
I'll tell you what they
us.
were doing is that they were like this is what I don't like sometimes about these superhero movies, like especially back then. Like I said, nowadays Marvel has their iron grip on how they portray the characters. You know what I mean? Because they own those motherfuckers and they want them to be portrayed how they're supposed to be portrayed. But back then, the Hulk property was owned by Sony, same people that own Spider-Man. So it's like they just did whatever they wanted with it. You know what I mean? So it's like it was called Hulk. It had a giant green guy in it named Bruce Banner, but it didn't have anything to do with the Hulk. You know what I mean? It was like it was a story about repressed childhood memories. And it was a really well done movie about repressed childhood memories. It's just that, like, it's like even at the end, there's like a giant metaphor for him giving it all the anger back to his dad that he did to him and all that stuff. And just like the weird transitions and the weird like just psychological nonsense that was in it. But it was like, what is this? Why did you make this movie about? Why did you make a Hulk movie about this?
Right.
You know what I mean? It was like, let's see. Okay, so the Hulk is about rage. Well, where do we get rage from? Our childhood. Okay, let's make a movie about childhood trauma.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
like, I don't know. And it did not deliver in an action department. Like, it was like the lead, Eric Bana in it.
Yeah.
It's not his fault. I love that guy. But it's like he had kind of like Tobey Maguire Spider-Man syndrome, where it's like he just kind of sat there like a deer in the headlights while everybody else talked around him, and like I don't know, it was an odd movie
Well, I
to
didn't-
make with that property. You know?
Yeah. No. And
It's not bad. It's just Hulk bad. Hulk
Right, and
Well-
didn't they also change the origin of the Hulk? Did they make it that the dad put something
Yeah,
in him,
like
right?
he was injecting him with stuff as a kid.
Instead of
and-
saving somebody's life and getting exposed to the gamma rays,
Yeah.
being a hero,
right.
you know, even when he wasn't the Hulk, he was a hero at heart. Like
Yeah.
that's a great superhero origin. Not
Right.
like, oh, my dad injected me with cells of a fucking jellyfish or something like that.
Yeah.
I don't know what it was, but whatever.
It was just a strange movie.
It was something like that.
No, I remember when I first saw it, I didn't like it, and I think it was kind of like a combination of the CGI I wasn't a fan of.
Yeah.
Like I'm not sure if it was like, did they portray the sizing of him appropriately in that? 'Cause, like,
that
there
was weird. He
Yeah.
literally
grew.
Yeah,
He grew
yeah,
when he got more angry.
Yeah, like I
That was
wasn't sure if
stupid.
that was
Which never
right. Yeah, it
happens.
didn't seem
Yeah.
right, and so I remember not liking that. But I'm going to take a quick side note, really quick. The Edward Norton version of
Awesome.
Hulk. Okay,
Love
so
the
Incredible
so,
Hulk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
okay.
underrated Marvel.
Okay, so quick question: was that technically the first true Marvel movie of the Marvel universe before?
No,
like,
second one.
No, Iron
which
Man.
was before, Iron Man
Iron
was
Man came
before?
out a month before that.
Did it? Okay,
Yeah.
that's what I was
And
curious
Tony
about.
Stark made an appearance in that movie.
Yeah, in the post credits.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, that's all. I just a
That's
quick
what
little
they-
side
that's
note.
what
I
they-
was wondering.
that's the whole thing that
Timber
started
off the
that.
bat.
Why didn't Edward Norton
That one.
continue
That
playing Hulk? Like, you think that he would have been mentally prepared, or Marvel would have prepared them
he's
for that
notoriously
role?
hard to work with.
I think that was more of like the business side of the entertainment
I
business.
think Mark
Okay.
Ruffalo.
Ruffalo does.
Ruffalo's
I think he's great.
amazing.
He's great. Yeah,
He-
yeah, yeah.
He's
I think he's a
perfect.
great actor in general,
Yeah.
and like
Yeah.
not to bring up this movie again, but like the first time I saw him in a movie was Eternal Sunshine of a Spotless Mind, and I'm like, oh, this is a great actor. And then after that, I remember seeing him in like
Yeah.
different roles, and even like he's one of those actors that like he doesn't get a lot of like leading roles, but when he does get a role, it's just like
He's
he
great.
does a good job of
He's
playing
great.
different types of characters.
It
So.
was like I said, the Hulk 2003 was like, it was just the character of Bruce Banner is not true. You know, it's like.
But Incredible Hulk is truly
But
part of the
Incredible,
Marvel universe.
because like in that one, he's like, you know, when it happens, I like it. You know what I mean? And stuff, and it's like, no, you don't. You're trying to get rid of it, and that's
Yeah.
what they did in the correct one, the later one. You know,
Yeah.
Gotcha.
he
Good
wants
call.
it out of him.
Oh yeah, that's a good call because I also did not like that movie anyways.
Also, Thunderbolt Ross was like a nice guy in Hulk.
Okay.
It was Sam Elliott.
Oh,
you know?
General
Okay.
Ross.
Yeah, General Ross was like a nice dude. It's like,
Yeah.
what? No, the guy he's a mean dude. So
They got that correct later,
yeah.
even though Sam Elliott is awesome, but still. it's okay.
Roadhouse.
Roadhouse. All right.
All right, Bill.
Bill, what's your
Sam Elliott podcast coming soon.
yes,
Mine.
please.
Okay, so 2004. There's a couple clunkers. As good of a year as that was, man, I really can't choose between these two. There's one I definitely hate more than the others, but I'm gonna start with one really quick. The Village.
Ooh,
M.
Night
Night
Shyamalan.
Yeah, and I like a lot of what he does and creates. I'm a fan of his movies usually, but that one, when you find out the twist, usually in an M. Night Shyamalan film, that's the this is really cool part. In that movie, it made me hate the film. I really liked. Oh, this is an old colonial type village, a la maybe like. Like a Salem type of place, right? Like an old Salem witch trials type of thing going on. There are these creatures. I really, really, spoiler alert, wanted those creatures to be real because they freaked me out.
They were scary,
Really
man.
cool design. I wanted
Yeah.
there to be something in those woods. And then when you find out the twist that it's really modern times and stuff, I fucking hated it.
I gotta tell you,
I hated it.
At that point in his career, I saw the trailer for that movie and I guessed the ending.
Were you serious?
Yeah. Like once I saw the trailer for it and who made it, I was like, oh yeah, no, it's modern times.
For the first half of the movie, I was all in. First half of the movie, I'm like, all right, it's a little weird, but it's cool.
I didn't even see
It's
it.
creepy.
No, the
It's
first
good.
time they
But then
reveal
when
the
they reveal
monster
it, I'm like,
is scary. The first time they show any bit of the monster, it's scary.
Yeah.
And it's done really well.
Yeah.
See, I don't hate that movie. I don't
hate it, really?
I don't.
Okay.
No, I like the twist at the end is a little annoying because it's like, well, why would you? All right, but like, if that group of people was that dedicated to living that life,
that is creepy. I'll give you that. But
you know what I mean?
Why can't that guy just make a movie? Why can't he just make a goddamn movie?
without a twist?
Yeah, there always has to be the Soylent Green moment.
Because he was.
It's people! It's the
Because
You guys, it's the plants.
oh, dude, you could have picked. if you
no.
would've-
The Happening?
If you would have had
Ooh.
that year, I would have agreed
Worse.
with you for sure.
How
Awful.
scary, how scary was it in Signs when the alien walks through the kid's birthday party
Science
on
is
TV?
great.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Yeah, but like, and then after a while, it's like, oh, the twist is water? Like, then why'd they pick this?
No,
Okay,
see,
that maybe-
I liked Signs. See, that's the thing.
But I
maybe,
love
maybe
that.
I just like his stuff, and maybe I'm just
That's fine.
a fan of looking the other way.
No, I'm saying
So,
I usually
it.
do like his stuff. It's just the Village is probably the one where I'm just like,
see,
can't do it.
I wasn't a big fan of Sixth Sense, and
See, I
everyone
like his-
adores
What?
that. Yeah.
Why do you
I like
hate
his
really good
directing.
movies?
No, all right.
now
Here's
your
what I'll say.
opinion doesn't matter
Yeah,
anymore.
and I'm out. No, here's the thing. Sixth Sense was built up so much, and
Sure.
the twist wasn't ruined for me, but it was built up so much as it's
Well, were you
amazing
looking
movie.
for something?
Yep. The
Okay.
entire time I was watching it, and then you figure it out ahead of time,
Yeah.
and then you're just kind of like, and it's good, but
Yeah.
like the hype ruined it for me.
Sure.
Don Murphy, one of my best friends. Has never seen Ferris Bueller's Day Off because everyone's told him about how it's this great, fun 80s movie, and he's like, I can't watch it. It's going to be awful. He's like, I can't watch it because it's been hyped
Ferris
up.
Bueller, unwatchable.
Unwatchable.
According to Don Murphy.
But maybe it's one of those things where it's like, if it's hyped up that much, like I don't want to hear about it.
I
I,
got you,
avoid
I
talking
got
to
you.
everyone about Infinity War and Deadpool 2, and I finally saw both of them, and I loved them. And thank God I just didn't talk to anybody
There you
about
go.
it.
There you go.
You know?
right.
But yeah, I for The Village, yeah, I don't think it was a clunker. I'm gonna
That's fine.
disagree.
That's fine if you liked it. That's fine because you're going to agree with me on my second choice.
Oh yeah, that's right. That
No.
wasn't even your first one.
That wasn't even no. Here it is. You ready for this? The Day After Tomorrow.
Oh, that was terrible.
And thank you for joining Kick Rock's 2-drink minimum. We are done.
You did not like that. Don't give me that. No, you did.
It's,
Okay, look. Here's my one thing. My one thing about it. It has many things, but you cannot outrun weather. You can't outrun cold. There was this whole concept where like the eye of the storm is absolute cold and things freeze instantly, and they're like, there's points where they have to run away from it, and it's freezing things behind them. It's like trying to outrun sunlight. You can't. It's
Yeah, you can. You stand on a tree, and it's like 5 degrees cooler.
Tell me you liked The Day After Tomorrow.
I liked
And I'll
The
let
Day
that comment
After Tomorrow.
slide. You liked it?
Yes, I did.
Come on, Serge! You're lying.
It was like a city got destroyed the first like 20 minutes, and then it's Dennis Quaid running from CGI wolves for the rest of the movie.
And cold.
And cold.
You can't run from cold.
all right, Bill Miller, fan of Game of Thrones. You can't run from cold, right?
Go on.
You think Tormund's dead?
Game of Thrones is built into fantasy. and I would argue,
You are praying and
I would
hoping
argue
that
that
he's
Day After
alive.
Tomorrow takes place in the real world where that cannot happen. But in this fantasy world of Westeros,
Hold on.
where dragons are
The
real,
whole point
anything
of
can happen.
movies is to lose like your entire like
Reality.
and get lost into a story.
What's the name of the
Game of Thrones is the best TV show that ever. I will not have it. I will not have this talk.
What's the name of the asshole who keeps making those movies? Who keeps making those goddamn disaster movies? What's his name? The guy who did he like did Independence Day and everyone was
Michael
like,
Bay?
"Wow."
Michael
That's
Bay.
who I had in my head.
It's like I forget his name. But it's like
Oh.
he made fucking Independence Day and then made that movie like 6 more times and people care less every time.
Who made Independence Day?
I'm googling
It looks like
Man?
Ronald
I know
Emmerich
it's
or
the same
something like
guy.
that.
Ronald Emmerich.
Yeah, that's it.
Is it really?
Oh, I just said
Ronald
that.
Roland. Yeah.
Okay.
He just keeps making that movie.
Independence Day, Godzilla, The Day After Tomorrow.
Wow.
What the hell is
Like
Stonewall?
Independence Day. Independence Day had like this cheesy like America
I
vibe
needed
to it,
White
where it's
House
like,
down.
all right, after the giant cities get destroyed, like we come back and yay USA. So like it had that summer movie like gotcha like grab to it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's like he keeps making that movie over and over. But like the
Rolling
second and
now.
third act are like, what do you do? What are you doing? You know?
He did
Like I said,
10,000
the world got
BC. He did
destroyed and then they're running around
2012.
with ice.
He
Which
does
is the
do a lot
disaster
of.
one?
Oh, he's got Stargate.
I really
Disaster,
like
but
2012.
Stargate's good.
I really like Stargate.
I like Stargate. Yeah.
He's
You know
signed
what?
on for Independence Day 3.
I'm learning something about myself today. I like Roland Emmerich as a director.
Okay.
I think
okay.
you should just make 3-hour effects reels. I think you should just like destroy every
The
city in
Patriot.
the world without a story.
I like The Patriot.
Patriot?
He directed The
I like
Patriot.
the Patriot. All right. Now I'm leading towards maybe The Day After Tomorrow is the one clunker in the bunch. I don't know. Godzilla pretty bad. All right.
White House down.
Yeah, White House down. All right. Well, anyway, that's gonna do it for this episode. Thank you guys for tuning in and listening. Hope you had just as much fun as we did, gentlemen. Let's cheers one more time.
Cheers.
And let's wrap it up. And Mr. Marino, you know what to do.
Hey, thank you for joining us with Kick Rock's 2-Drink Minimum podcast. Coming at you live from Sergio's house off some address on Wayman Avenue. Bow wow cow now. Found now. Brown cow now. Zow. Wow loud. Dow mow. Now cow. Meow 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 meow.
See, I've gotten to the point where I just want to see how long you're going to go.
Give it about chicken. Give it go a little bit longer now.
Well, that's going to do it for this episode of 2-Drink Minimum. Thank you so much for listening. Did you agree with us? Did you disagree with our picks? From when we were 21 years old, mind you. So not now. Now we feel maybe a little differently. Well, not so much. I think we probably agree with our 21-year-old selves for the most part. But despite what you thought, if you want to let us know what you're feeling there, you can email us at any time at podcast@kickarock.com. Once again, that's podcast@kickarock.com. Remember to like and subscribe to our podcast on iTunes or your favorite podcast platform, whatever that may be. Thanks again. This has been 2 Drink Minimum. We've been drinking, thinking, and talking shop. Cheers, everybody.